Good evening. With the Ghana Learning Channel's News in Capsule for Friday, October 29, 2021, I am Kingsley Bryan. Here's a look at some of the top stories we will be covering this evening. We'll tell you first that President Ali launches an impressive LCDS strategy, and that is to harness Guyana's unique advantages for low-carbon development. Then, CSEC CAPE results to be released next week, as the Education Ministry awaits further statistics from CXC. Then, U.S. Embassy says Young Leaders of America applications now open. Program open to 280 persons between 25 to 35 years of age. And COP26 art competition created awareness, according to Chief Education Officer. He says children are better able to understand climate and its effects. And then in news from the region, we'll tell you, St. Kitts opens borders for inbound travel. Travel restrictions lifted for India and South Africa. And on the international scene, lemur species found to have rhythm. Largest living lemur species that actually sings. And now for the news in detail. His Excellency, Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali, on Thursday, launched the renewed and expanded Low Carbon Development Strategy, LCDS 2030. The new program is in its draft stage and focuses on harnessing Guyana's unique advantages to create a new low-carbon economy, built on the platform provided by the Monitoring, Reporting and Verification System, MRVS, and other areas of enhanced capacity in Guyana. President Ali announced that LCDS 2030 will create a new low-carbon economy by establishing incentives which value the world's ecosystem services and promoting these as an essential component of a new model for global development with sustainability at its core. In Guyana's case, harnessing the value of the country's ecosystem services can build a long-term, low-carbon diversification opportunity. The draft LCDS addresses four main objectives, namely forest climate and other ecosystem services, how to stimulate future growth through clean energy and sustainable economic activities, protecting humanity and biodiversity against climate change, and how to align Guyana with global climate goals. The draft LCDS is the basis for a national consultation to gather input and ideas from all Guyanese. The goal of the consultation will be to receive and incorporate broad-based feedback on the measures contained within the strategy. Based on the outcomes of these consultations, the LCDS will be updated and tabled in the National Assembly. The President said this is Guyana's moment, as he relayed his confidence in the country being able to provide answers to some of the biggest questions the world faces, like balancing energy and climate security, and creating the basis for a future ecosystem services economy, while still helping its people become prosperous. Guyana has the second highest percentage of forest cover on Earth and is working with partners to sustain 99.5% of that forest while building the foundation for a new low-carbon ecosystem economy. Then, the Education Ministry in a statement on Thursday noted that the results for the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, and the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations, CAPE, are expected to be released early next week. The ministry noted in the statement that this is due to the country's statistics being regrettably delayed, as we are awaiting additional country analysis and reports from CXC, an excerpt read. The performance of Guyanese candidates at the 2021 sitting of the CSEC and CAPE examinations has been higher than the regional average. This was revealed during the official release of the Caribbean results on October 14 by the CXC's Director of Operations, Dr. Nicole Manning. Dr. Manning stated that some 70% of the candidates who were registered from Guyana had received acceptable grades compared to the region's 68%. For CSEC, these acceptable grades are the grade 1 to 3 passes. However, for CAPE, grade 1 to 5 is considered the passing grade. It was also highlighted that 33 subjects offered at CXC at the CSEC level, Guyanese candidates would have topped 20 subjects. Since the release of the preliminary results in October, Guyana has been engaging CXC on several ungraded results. This year, it is the failure of the CXC system to properly record the SBAs that were submitted. And we'll tell you now that the U.S. Embassy in Georgetown on Friday announced that applications have opened for the State Department's Young Leaders of the Americas Initiative, YLAI, Professional Fellows Program. The program is open to 280 persons who are aged between 25 to 35 years from Latin America, Canada, and the Caribbean. 14 Guyanese have won fellowships in the past. Fellows will be taken to the U.S. in January and February next year to expand their leadership and entrepreneurial skills and network through skills-building workshops and opportunities to learn from and exchange with U.S. counterparts, according to the U.S. Embassy in Georgetown. Applicants for the program must have demonstrated a track record of successfully growing their own business or social venture for at least 2 years and is a current resident and citizen of Guyana. The embassy stated that the fellowship program is part of the U.S. continued commitment to the prosperity of Guyana and the region. The YLEI Fellowship Program supports and connects young entrepreneurs across the Western Hemisphere to take on leadership roles that benefit their communities and strengthen their economies. Application forms can be accessed at ylei.state.gov, and that is open until December 1, 2021. And Chief Education Officer at the Ministry of Education, Dr. Marcel Hudson, said that children are now more aware of climate change following a recent art competition. The CEO was at the time delivering remarks at a ceremony to award the winners of the competition. The COP26 Child Art Competition was a collaborative effort between the Education Ministry and the British High Commission. The competition was held under the theme, The Environment and the Impact of Climate Change. He said the paintings on display indicated that they understand what climate is and how it affects the world. The CEO added that it was commendable that children from throughout the country, especially Region 8, participated in the competition. Meanwhile, British High Commissioner to Guyana, Her Excellency Jane Miller, said she was impressed with the quality of work and thought that was placed into their product. The High Commissioner spoke of the COP26 conference and how it's important to addressing climate change. The conference is scheduled to run from October 31 to November 12. The competition catered for children from 5 to 7, 8 to 10, and 11 to 15 age groups. At the ceremony, there was also a simple tree planting exercise aimed at fighting the effects of climate change. And now turn our attention to the world of sports. Australia maintained their 100% record in the men's T20 World Cup with a dominant 7-wicket win over Sri Lanka. Chasing 125 to win, opener David Warner led the way with 65 from 42 balls. When he was dismissed in the 15th over, Australia needed just 25 to win. At the halfway stage, Sri Lanka's 154 for 6 looked competitive on a slow pitch, but their bowlers struggled for consistency, and Warner and Aaron Finch, who had 37, took advantage of that. Having been put into bat, Charit Asalanka and Kusal Perera propelled Sri Lanka to 78 for 2 with 10 overs left. But they squandered the opportunity to make the most of that platform as Adam Zampa helped the pressure on the batters and they staggered to 94 for 5. Thanks to a quick-fire 33 off 26 balls from Bhanuka Rajaspashka, Sri Lanka gave their bowlers something to defend. But they failed to build any pressure as wayward bowling allowed Warner and Finch to free their arms. They reached 63 from the 6-over power play, and Steve Smith, 28 not out, and Marcus Stoyonis, 16 not out, finished the job for Australia with an overall ease. And that story was extracted and modified from the newsroom. And now for news from the region. The overall management of the COVID-19 pandemic by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis via the National COVID-19 Task Force has led to the opening up of their borders to inbound travelers with little impact on the spread of the virus locally. Mr. Abdias Samuel, chair of the National COVID-19 Task Force, indicated during a press conference that the federal cabinet has removed travel restrictions for persons from South Africa and India. The move to remove these countries from the travel advisory list comes after Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Cameron Wilkinson stated that incoming travelers pose little to no threat of an increase of domestic COVID-19 cases. Mr. Samuel further said that outbound passengers will be permitted to use either the PCR test or the antigen test. The Federation of the St. Kitts and Nevis has been applauded for the management of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Life First strategy adopted has ensured that a wide cross-section of stakeholders has been involved in the consultation process as the way to go forward living and working amidst this ongoing global pandemic. And that story was extracted and modified from Caribbean News Now. And on the international scene, if animals could have been nominated for Grammys, definitely these lemurs could win. That's because they've got rhythm. The Indri, a species of lemur in Madagascar, is one of a few animal species with rhythm, according to a study published on Monday in Current Biology. The Indri is the largest living lemur species and the only one that sings, which made it the perfect animal to study to see if it has rhythm, said study co-author Chiara De Gregorio, a researcher in the Department of Life Sciences and Systems Biology at the University of Turin in Italy. Rhythm was defined as durational patterns that consist of sounds and silences. The Indris sing in sounds like lower and higher howling, pitches that pierce through the air. The researchers wanted to see if the black and white lemurs had categorical rhythm, the ability to create different types of rhythm patterns. After 12 years of research, scientists analyzed 636 recordings of vocalizations from 39 adult Indris and found they share two different rhythmic patterns with humans. Like us, lemurs are primates. Both interval patterns can be found in the intro to the song, "We Will Rock You" by Queen, Dr. Gregorio explained. Further analysis found that male Indris held their notes longer and sang with a longer duration in between notes than females. Singing takes a different amount of energy, so the extended intervals might allow the male lemurs to sing for longer periods. Researchers do not know exactly why Indris developed this unique talent, but De Gregorio said she believed it could have evolved for long-distance communication and territory defense. The next step in her research is to determine if these endangered animals know how to sing at birth or if it is a learned skill they practice over time. And that story was extracted and modified from CNN. And that's our news broadcast for Friday, October 29, 2021. Please join us for a rebroadcast tomorrow morning. On behalf of myself and technical teams, thanks for watching. Please remember to stay tuned to our regular programming and observe all the necessary precautionary methods to fight off COVID-19. We're all in this together. And as we observe the end of October, which celebrates Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we stand strong with the survivors and we will never, ever give up hope. Have a safe evening, everyone.